For Smokey Brown, he found himself a mighty long way from Brooklyn, New York. But then again, life with the Joestar family had opened him to new worlds and possibilities. Things that he didn't even know were possible. Not just in terms of the practical sense, but in terms of the supernatural and the mystical. Just 24 hours ago, he was enjoying a lovely dinner in a cafe with a good friend, and now he found himself traveling south of the border into the land of Mexico with said friend to battle against vampires. And what's more, American hero and sensation Captain Midnight was personally flying them on his private jet, the Silver Dart. Well, if Smokey had told anyone about this back at home, they downright have called him a madman and a fool, but no, this was his reality. But of course, this did lead to many questions. Among them, how exactly did Captain Midnight come into contact with Robert E.O. Speedwagon? Well, if you're asking me that, the captain said as he continued to fly, leading into the descent into Mexico. It's a story as old as time, though not many in the public would know about it. It was shortly after the First Great War. I had gone on many flying tours for private companies, those in need of a pilot, you see. I'm one of the few people in the world who can consider themselves the best pilot in the world. So, whenever a rich baron or a woman of great wealth needs to be taken from point A to point B, I'm the guy they hire to fly their hunk of metal across the 7 seas. So, you're just like a taxi driver, but for planes. Something like that, Smokey. Something like that. You could say that on one of my tours, things took an unexpected turn. I was flying over the snowy caps of Asia when my plane crashed. In the midst of my frozen adventure, I stumbled across some unsavory individuals. Vampires. Wait, so you're saying there are vampires on the other side of the world? Smokey said. Of course, but not just vampires. All sorts of monsters, cryptids, anything you can imagine. I know this is a lot for you to take in, and honestly, I'm surprised that you've been able to hold yourself together. Trust me, it ain't easy. I can imagine. There are things in this world, Smokey, things far greater and far more terrifying, and yet more often than not, I find myself seeing that when it comes to the fate of mankind, the only thing we're able to be afraid of is each other. But there are monsters out there, Smokey. Terrible creatures of the night who, if they had their way, would plunge the entire world into hell. I had the misfortune of going up against them, but it was only thanks to Speedwagon and his men that I survived. We fought together side by side. Speedwagon, also known as the Sandman. His corporation has been helping to fight against these monsters, and I joined along. He's the one who sponsored me, gave me a chance. From then on, I've become Captain Midnight. I ride through these skies, going wherever I'm sent, to give aid, relief, or justice to those in need. Speedwagon's been like a mentor to me and a trusted friend, and that's why I can't turn back on him now. But now, our battle has led us here to Mexico, Joseph said. We're going to save Speedwagon, and we're going to put an end to these monsters. As the group would descend before landing, going off from the base that wasn't too far away to avoid being spotted, out in the desert field dunes of Mexico, there lied an assassin in wait. An assassin hired by the German army of Rudolf von Stroheim, the one known only as Donovan. Donovan, the master of the blade and deception, would stalk the three as they attempted to hide through the pillars of sand. Thankfully enough, Joseph was able to sense him using his hamon and channeling it into the cacti all around them. He got the drop on their assassin before he could make his move. Now having some helpful intel at their disposal, they now knew exactly what they were going up against. Meanwhile, inside of the facility, Rudolf von Stroheim, along with the others of the German Science Division, were now studying the Pillar Man. Thanks to the blood of their captives, they were now filling it, starting to bring it to life, with a restrained Speedwagon looking on in horror. Do not make that face, Speedwagon. This is a great day. A day when human ingenuity will be pushed to its finest. No, you don't understand. You can't bring that monster back to life. What are you so worried about? All I see, all that I can see, is a statue being bloated with blood. You worry about stone? Stone mask? Creatures who can be controlled? I have heard of you, Speedwagon. You are more than just oil tycoon, no. You have been traveling the world. But I say someone like you should be tired by now, shouldn't you? Sandman? So you know about that. Who does not know about the adventures of the Sandman? Your adventures along with the Captain Midnight. He has come across our forces a few times. And do not worry, we will have something for your crimson flying friends soon enough. You call yourself heroes, but you impede on the future. The future that is German. A future where now man will answer to themselves. We will be the masters of our own fate. What is there to fear? You don't know the half of it. There are things in this world that were never meant to be on Earth. But you continue on to try to play God. And look at where it'll get you. I hope you're happy, von Stroheim. I hope that you can take responsibility when all of humanity is destroyed because of you. Because of me. Because of me, Speedwagon. Humanity will be saved. Now, look, Commander. What? It is beginning to move. The Pillar Man would start to break away from its shackles, eventually falling to the ground as blood began to spurt from its pores. It lives! By Fuhrer, the Pillar Man, he has awoken. Inside of the soundproofed room, they believed that there was no way that it could make contact with them. A cell would be opened as one of their recent captives, now turned into a vampire via the stone mask, would be sent to engage with the Pillar Man. Stroheim and his men would watch as the newly awakened Pillar Man would engage with the vampire. Originally filled with conviction in their newly found discovery, it would soon be left wake with horror and terror as the two monsters engaged inside of their cell. The Pillar Man's body beginning to absorb the vampire into itself as its fangs bearing into its flesh slowly began to melt away. Stroheim, along with Speedwagon, watched as the Pillar Man would absorb the vampire turned through by the stone mask. Inside of its insulated room and through the halls, they felt no need for worry or panic, believing that the monster had been contained. Stroheim turning back to Speedwagon, who continued to look on in horrified disbelief. "You worry too much, Speedwagon. I assure you, inside of this facility, there is no way that this monster can escape. We are in control and... My general, what has happened? What? Where is he? He has escaped, sir. I see that he has escaped. But tell me, how is it possible? Did you not keep your eyes on him? My lord, please. Roll back the film. We will know what happened." As the film was played back, they began to see how the monstrous Pillar Man had managed to escape. Using and contorting its body through the ventilation system, it began to move through the walls of the facility. Speedwagon warning that the monster was now starting to learn, mimicking their speech in nature. Soon it would come to its own understanding, recognizing where it stood on the food chain. Before Stroheim could warn his men, through the vents, the monstrous Pillar Man would awaken as it began to seep its body into one of the soldiers, before turning back to the ones whom had awakened it, continuing on in its quest for knowledge. At Stroheim's orders, the monster would be pelted with bullets, but little could be done to sedate its quest for knowledge and blood. Their bullets in turn fired back upon them, one by one the soldiers beginning to fall, until only the German General Stroheim and his captive Speedwagon were what remained. Stroheim. How does he know my name? I told you, he was able to mimic human speech, speaking using the ventilation system. He is now starting to gain sentience, and before long, he will learn of the one who awoken him. What? No, Savantino. I am the one who has given you life, Stroheim said. As Speedwagon feared the worst, he felt a hand grip his shoulder. Come now, Speedwagon. We must get you out of here into safety. Let me go! I would rather accept my fate than ever accept hands from the ones who bound me. My. You're always the more aggressive type, aren't you, Speedwagon? Seriously, I don't know how Granny Irina is able to ever put up with you. Irina? But how do you... let go! The mysterious soldier grabbed a hold of Stroheim's hair. Trust me, this will hurt a lot more if you try to resist. I'll just need a clump of this now if you don't mind. All right, foul creature. Let's see how you try going up against my Haman. Now, shield! With Joseph channeling the Haman into the hair strands, throwing it into the air, he connected them together to form a barrier, protecting the group long enough for the Pillar Man to run out of ammunition, the being known as Savinto. Immediately, multiple grenades would be launched towards the beast, as a large cowling cape would block the shrapnel as well. Is that... Nice to see you, Speedwagon, though you look like you've seen better days. Captain Midnight, Stroheim said, only for him to catch a right hook from the captain. I believe you caused enough trouble for my friend here. But, what? How is this? There's enough time for talk. Captain, get him, Smokey, and even this piece of garbage out of here, Joseph said. Right, we're on it. Smokey took hold of the wheelchair of Speedwagon, moving him along through the halls with the captain and with Stroham in tow. But what about you, kid? I know that you've got your special fancy powers and all of that, but do you really think you can go up against that thing? You didn't have faith in your weapons? I've always got faith in what Speedwagon can provide, kid. Don't ever doubt that. But this is a whole different beast from whatever I've gone up against. And I'm not the same creature, Joseph said. Get him out of here. I got this. The door would close behind him. And now, Joseph remained. You know, I don't like to extend a lot of effort. The only reason I came all this way was to help out an old friend. And to try to put a smile on my sweet granny's face. She's been very sad recently, and that's been because of you. And why such an ugly face? Seriously, the least you could do is try to brighten up the room a little. Come on, look good for the camera. Come on, show me those pearly whites. Let me catch a good side. No? Oh well. You talk too much. You're looking at this, Joseph said, as he twirled around the helmet of fate in his hands. You know, this has been in the family for a long time. It was said that my grandfather used it to save all of London from the hand of monsters. Of course, I used to think those were nothing more but fairy tales until I came to learn the truth. The truth is, you think that I'm trapped in this room with a monster, but really it's the other way around. Because once I put this on, even I can't control what happens next. You are an enemy, Savantino would say. Enemy. That's right. I am your enemy. And fortunately for you, you're going to regret that I am. Joseph would place the helmet of fate onto himself. Instantly, his body would begin to glow as the streaking forms of Haman would begin to surge inside of him. His clothing beginning to morph and change into that of a Nile blue with a shimmering gold of ornament around him. His eyes, a bright and searing light, a light that shined in the darkness. Inside, on the mental plane, Joseph came face to face with that thing, the thing he met 8 years ago. It's been a long time, hasn't it, Naboo? Joseph Joestar, you have finally returned. Save the pleasantries, Naboo. This isn't like how it was back then. Let's make one thing perfectly clear. I know all about you. I know what you are and what you're all about. You're not an enemy. That much I know. But an ally? I can't say that either. You have your own machinations, do you not? And I'm pretty sure that you know about this thing. There's a lot that you know, and there's a lot that you're going to tell me. You're a brave one to speak to me that way. Don't try and act all high and mighty. For as powerful as you might be, let's get one thing very clear. If you were as strong as you claim to be, you wouldn't be nothing more but a helmet. No, the fact is, you need me, just like you needed my grandfather. Funny how that works. High and mighty and powerful, And yet you need my power. You need my body in order to move. You're trying to be hostile, to aggravate me. I'm just setting the terms. I hate getting involved in mess that doesn't concern me. I'd much rather relax and turn the other way. But unfortunately, I don't have much of a choice. And right now, our enemies are one and the same. So how about this? We'll fight this foe together. But if you think that for 1 second that this is going to end up with me making a sacrificial play, with me giving up my life in exchange for some ancient war or prophecy or whatever else you've got cooked up, you've got another thing coming. You try to cross me, and I will just as soon rip this helmet off of my head, and I will send you rolling down the hill into a pile of dung and then set ablaze and forgotten. You are something else, Joestar. But know that we have no quarrel. We fight for the same cause, the protection of this world. Now, are you going to keep making idle threats? Or are we going to get this done? I think I've gotten my point across. Very well then. Do your worst, Naboo. Suddenly, the glowing figure snapped its head, looking straight towards Stavzo. Foul creature, you who shed innocent blood, a monster created from a darkness long since forgotten. I am the light that shines on that darkness. I expose the wicked. You answer to the warrior of the sun, chosen by Naboo. The master of your fate stands before you. You have been judged on the scales, and you have been deemed guilty. And now, the one who will execute your punishment, the master of your fate, is me! Up on the surface above, the ground would begin to rumble and shake, an explosion of light following shortly after. The group watching on, horrified at what came next. The Pillar Man came surging out. As he did so, he immediately leapt in desperation, jumping towards Stroheim, jumping into his mount, desperately clinging inside of him. The others would back away. Captain Midnight would grab hold of his flaming torch, holding it up ready to shoot out a ray of light. As for Smokey, he found himself stumbling and bumbling with the gas gun. Speedwagon had to try to warn the boy. Be careful with that thing, son. It's dangerous. If you shoot out the wrong kind of smoke, you'll end up doing us all in. Right, I'm sorry. I've never actually used a gun. And JoJo. Dr. Fate now was flying in the air. Joseph Joestar having transformed into the avatar of Naboo, hovering above Stroheim, who was fighting desperately to keep himself. There's nowhere for you to run. It's over, Pillar Man. Yeah, I feel it. It's trying to take me over. Savinto, you. No, don't come any closer. I may have a way of stopping him. There's only one way to finish this foul thing. I don't know what you are, JoJo. Whether you'll be man or no. He couldn't bring himself to say it. Listen, Stroham said as he prepared to pull off the grenade. I will take this creature with me. He will fall at the hand of German superiority, and he will learn what the true heart of man is. But before then, I must warn you, wherever you are, he is not the only one. The Pillar Man, its origin comes from Europe. There is a war, my friend, but it's not a war between man, but between man and monster. You must know, JoJo, this creature, to stop them from entering into the world. You must go to Rome. There you will find them. You will find the Pillar Man. My time has come to an end. And for you, the journey has begun. Whatever power you have, it is obvious that you are chosen. This is your destiny now. I do not believe in the concept of heaven or of hell. This life, it is what you make of it. I bid you with this, JoJo. I leave it all to you. In a final explosion, Stroham would release the Pillar Man. Desperate to escape from the rays of the sun, he would attempt to jump into a well. But before he could descend, the strands of Hamon's string would wrap itself around him, holding him in place and keeping him from moving. The sun had risen to high noon. The reflection of the sunlight at the bottom of the water's well refracting onto the Pillar Man, holding him as he was now turned into stone. Now completely immobilized and defeated, the statue would once again crumble away into nothing as it fell into the watery depths below. The others would gather together around JoJo as he turned to them, the glowing eyes of the helmet of fate beginning to fade as he would remove it from his head. JoJo, Speedwagon said. What are you? Smokey would ask. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself. But not bad, Nabu. Not bad at all. However, this is only the beginning. There are more. There are more Pillar Men in Europe. It looks like we're gonna have to take a rain check with Granny Irina. We're not going to be enjoying a home-cooked meal. At least, not yet. So, you're going? It's not like I have much of a choice. If I don't go, they'll end up finding me, all of us. I can't have that on my conscience. Besides, when someone's going to pick a fight, it's always best to make the first move. This concludes JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Battle of Fate. What if Joseph Joestar was Dr. Fate? Part 2. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. That's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned tomorrow as we continue with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Battle of Fate. What if Joseph Joestar was Dr. Fate? Part 3. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.